Hey guys, it's Paula Moore, the posture doctor from posturevideos.com, and today we've got a special treat. I'm here with professional declutterer Rachel Papworth from mygreenandtidylife.co.uk. You don't want to miss this one. So Rachel, welcome to Posture Videos.
Hi, thanks for having me in.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I don't do this very often, so this is a special treat. And I know at the end you're going to give us 3 top tips to clear our clutter.
Yep,
Excellent.
very excited about that.
Great. And the tip for you is that if we can clear our clutter, we're going to make room for health and well-being, and of course, more posture exercises. So, Rachel, how on earth did you become a declutterer? I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Most people have never heard of such a thing as a professional declutterer or a professional organiser. The answer is it's something that I've always loved. I have 3 brothers, and when I was a child, I used to help them declutter their rooms. I mean, my approach is somewhat different now from how it was when I was a child. My helping used to be quite dominating when I was little, whereas now I'm very much around supporting people to understand for themselves what their issues are, understand for themselves how to set their space up the way they want it to be. But the answer is it's just something that comes from the inner core of my being, is to bring order where there is chaos.
Rachel, can you tell our posture pupils how big a problem is clutter really?
It's a significant issue. There's a huge number of people that are struggling with clutter. In fact, once I started working in this area about 3 years ago, I began to realise how many people I knew personally that were really struggling with clutter. Estimates vary, partly because it's an issue that a lot of people feel very ashamed of and keep very secret. But it could be as many as 1 in 20 people that actually suffer from hoarding disorder. So hoarding disorder is now a recognised mental health diagnosis. And maybe as many as 1 in 20 people in the population are suffering from that at the moment. And
I definitely know one hoarder and one borderline hoarder, absolutely.
And it's not just people that are hoarding. So there's a whole spectrum of struggling with clutter, and many people that are way away from the level of being diagnosed with hoarding disorder are nonetheless finding that they're overwhelmed, they're struggling, they don't feel like they're coping in their own home.
So moving away from people who are hoarding, and let's talk about just your average person with clutter, and all of us can relate to that. Sure. I remember my father used to look at my desk that I was trying to work at and he'd say, "Oh, cluttered desk, cluttered mind." And does clutter actually affect other areas of your life and prevent you from being as successful, say, with your health and well-being and those areas of your life?
Absolutely it does. And actually one of the things that I really love about working in the area of clutter is that it's like a gentle way in to lots of other issues that people are dealing with. So often when I support someone to clear their clutter, the next thing that happens is they start dealing with all sorts of other areas of their lives. They get a new job, or they bring an interior designer into the home, or they work with a stylist and completely revamp their look, or they lose loads of weight, or they start sleeping properly, or they sort out their relationship, or they get into a new relationship. So it's amazing how clutter, it's a symptom of other stuff that's going on for people, and by actually dealing with that, it often provides a gentle way in to the underlying problems and the underlying issues that people are dealing with, and it enables them to open up their lives. It's amazing. When you clear clutter out, you make room for other stuff that you actually want in your home to come in.
Brilliant. Now I'm thinking, where can I start? Where can I start? Exactly. I want those things. That's brilliant. So knowing that most of us have a little bit of clutter and that moving that out of the way is going to give us room for other important areas of our life, and in this case, obviously, health and well-being and more posture exercises, how about those 3 top tips that you were telling me about earlier?
Okay. Well, there's so many things I could say, but I tried to distill down what would be the 3 key messages I'd love your people to have.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to declutter before you organise. So people often say to me, do I just need more storage solutions? Should I get some shelves here? What if I've got a filing cabinet? And what I always say is declutter first, because you might actually find you don't need that storage solution. And however many storage solutions you get, you'll fill them up. It's like the handbag principle, you get a bigger handbag, you fill your handbag. So declutter first, always. The second thing is, there's no right answer about how much clutter you should have. There's no correct amount of clutter or correct amount of organisation to have in your space. It's about what works for you. Yeah. So people often say to me, you must be really minimalist, I bet your place is really clear. And actually it's not. It's set up the way that works for me, and my level of clutter would be different from yours.
It's true, I've been there.
Anyone else. So the answer is not to have some ideal that you're aspiring to, but just to work out what works for you and keep watching. What does it work? How does it work for you to have things there?
Because people have things they love, right? They don't necessarily want to get rid of those things that are really close to them.
Exactly, and I would never put pressure on someone to get rid of something that they want to keep. And the final thing I would say is to declutter little and often. Try not to let it build up into a big backlog, because once you've got a big backlog, it just seems so overwhelming. It's really hard to get started. So if you can, try and do a little bit of decluttering weekly or monthly, so you keep on top of your home or your office space.
Oh, I have a bonus question, a bonus tip for our viewers here. Is there a best room to start decluttering?
The answer to that is yes and no. For each person there's a best place to start, but it will vary from person to person. So what I always say is, what's going to make the biggest difference for you? Now that can either be go for a quick win, somewhere where you can really quickly make a big difference, or where it's actually going to be quite easy for you to make a big difference, or work in the area that's the room that you use the most. So you're going to spend the most time there and you're going to love the fact that you've transformed that space and it works for you now in a way that didn't work for you before. So if you can't do your posture exercises every morning and you really, really want to do them and it's bugging you that you can't do them, clear that space. Even if that takes you 20 minutes, and then every day you'll be able to do your posture videos and that'll make a huge difference to you, and that'll give you the motivation to keep going.
Wow, so there we have it. Clear your crap. Clutter. That's right. So get rid of the stuff and make room for your health and well-being, and start those posture exercises. Now you have no excuse. And if you head on over to mygreenandtidylife.co.uk, you can start on Rachel's free masterclass and get rid of that clutter ASAP. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye.